So I'm Carrie.
And I'm Todd Ellis.
And we are secure networkers. And we spend a lot of time through all our social media and even in the office with our customers focusing a lot on the fact that there are a lot of remote users right now with COVID-19. And we want to make sure that people understand the best ways to secure your remote users. There are lots, but today we really want to focus on multi-factor or two-factor authentication. So that's going to be our discussion for today.
So multi-factor authentication allows you to have a multiple stage authorization of a login process. So instead of just using a standard login, you are also going to utilize an app or some type of a phone call or a text. The text and the phone call is typically more along, or an email is something you would see with 2FA. Multi-factor authentication is going to usually have an actual app associated with it where you're going to type a code in, or you're actually going to do a push where you're going to hit an approve or disapprove button. If you know you're not logging in and something pops up on your phone saying please authorize, you're going to disapprove because you know it's not you trying to log in. And you probably should alert your IT department or your IT provider, the security provider, that this is happening. So once you approve that, then it approves that stage, that multi-stage of the authentication process of either the app, email, or some type of a login process that you're completing by utilizing your system.
So I have a question, because we utilize multi-factor authentication here in the office, but I notice there's some applications that have multi-factor authentication built in. Your payroll system, for example, I notice a lot of those, they're adding that into it. But what do you do if you have an application, or do you have an option if you have an application you're using that doesn't have two-factor authentication? I mean, is there a way to, I don't want to say add it, but how do you go about securing an application that doesn't automatically have two-factor authentication built into it?
So if it doesn't have 2FA or MFA built into the application, there's nothing you can do. Typically, you're going to have to contact that application provider or development group and find out, is there a settings area where you can enter that in. Whoever your multi-factor authentication tool, like if you're using Okta or Duo or Google Authenticator, you're going to go into the settings there and you're going to approve that application. Duo's pretty easy as far as you can actually log into your Duo console and you can actually pick the application that you're going to apply. That actual, it's going to be a code, some code that you're going to actually put into the application. And then all your users for that particular application within your company are going to be listed, and then they have an actual device. So when that application is authenticated, it's going to hit the application at Duo, and it's going to prompt them for approve or disapprove, or a 6-digit code, those type of things. One thing to be, while we're on the topic, one thing you need to be careful about is if it allows caching of your multi-factor authentication. A lot of applications will allow you to cache a 30-day period of that authentication on that device. So if you have your laptop and you log in, it'll give you a little checkbox, remember me for 30 days type thing. The downside to utilizing what we call like a whitelisting of a device for 30 days is that allows a bad actor, a hacker, to grab that information, that data, and then now they can drop that on another device. So they had a keylogger and you were caching, they have enough tools at their hands to basically spoof or utilize your credentials on another device and allow them to log in as you from another device. Does that make sense?
It does. So obviously I said we utilize two-factor authentication here, but So what kinds of things do you look for when you're doing, I mean, I don't know that I know the difference between two-factor versus multi-factor authentication. I mean, is there, obviously multi-factor would be preferred, correct?
So typically two-factor, a lot of times they like to use email. So it's very similar to like a kind of a forgot password type of a scenario. So if it's on a new device, it's going to send an email and then you click approve on the email. The downside to using just regular 2FA, I mean, it's better than no additional factor authentication. So basically what you would want to do is if somebody was able to capture the credentials of your email, they compromised your email account and there was an account takeover, basically if they have access to your email, then they can utilize the two-factor and log into any system that you have that you're using that 2FA on.
I think one of the advantages, and I don't think that everybody realizes how inexpensive authentication installations are. I think they're reasonable, usually between a few dollars, $5. Obviously you can add more features and do additional, it gets more expensive. But very basic authentication is actually very reasonable for most offices. So I don't see it even as an expense issue, and to me it's a very basic thing you can do to add security, especially for your remote users. You shouldn't have RDP open without multi-factor authentication.
Yeah, definitely not. Especially service like RDP, anything over web traffic 44380. That's something that you definitely do not want to do. It's a known vulnerability, and it allows the users and stuff to be spoofed and taken over, or actually taken over multiple sessions. So utilizing that is a must. As far as cost goes, you get what you pay for. Some of the downsides to using some of the free 2FAs that are out there, or multi-factor authentication type applications, is they if you forget your passwords, or you actually, like say you have the multi-factor on your phone, if you lost your phone or lost a device, then you're locked out and you have to go through a painful process to getting that re-authenticated.
Yeah, that's totally happened to me.
Yeah.
So if you have any additional questions about multi-factor, two-factor, security, anything like that, you can look at our website. Go to our website at securenetworkers.com.